Back in 2016, I only kind of liked Nintendo. Scratch that. I only kind of liked video games. I would love playing Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare and Garden Warfare 2 on the family room PlayStation. I enjoyed growing up with the Wii and playing Mario Kart or Wii Sports or New Super Mario Bros. With others. I even had a Wii U which I would play on occasion, mostly when I had friends over. We really enjoyed Mario Kart 8, Super Mario 3D World, and believe it or not, Mario Party 10. I don't know why, but we were really obsessed with the Bowser mode. I had a DS and 3DS, which I would also play on occasion, but aside from maybe Super Mario 3D Land, most of my sessions were very short-lived. Point is, I had a small obsession with a game here or there, but playing video games was never a consistent hobby of mine. I never really had a passion for it. That was until a certain console came out. In the summer of 2016, my dad, who had also dabbled in video games throughout his life, was telling me about rumblings of a new Nintendo console. I thought nothing of it, until he mentioned it was a hybrid console. My fascination, interest, and intrigue peaked at that moment. What does a hybrid console even look like? How would it even work? See, the least of my concerns were the games that would show up on the console. What I really wanted to know was the hardware, just because it seemed so imaginative and innovative and new. I had to see it. I had to know everything it does. I needed to get my hands on it. Over the next couple months, I reveled in every passing rumor I managed to hear. The controllers detach and reattach? What? How? What is the NX even going to be called? And then the day finally came. My dad sent me a message of a certain reveal trailer, and I watched it, and my excitement had become exponentially greater. I saw the name Nintendo Switch, and saw the console, and saw the people switch from playing on the TV to playing in handheld, and saw the controllers slide off the screen, and saw those controllers handed off to be turned on their sides so that the players could play co-op. That Zelda game looks cool. Wait, is that a new Splatoon? Wait, is that a new 3D Mario? I didn't know what to do with myself, and I had no clue how I was going to wait for this beautiful piece of technology to just be in my hands. But I waited, and saw more people talk about it over the months, and talked about it with friends and family over the months. I vividly remember a large portion of the internet and close friends of mine saying it was going to be a flop, but I knew there was something there. If there wasn't, why the hell would I, a truly casual gamer, ever be this obsessed with it? Eventually, the Nintendo Switch presentation came out, which I didn't know about because I wasn't a Nintendo fan yet, but I did see an amazing trailer for the new 3D Mario, now titled Super Mario Odyssey. I saw a cool new game coming out in the first year called ARMS. 1-2-Switch looked like 1-2-Switch. Basically, I saw a few new things that only grew my hype, and wait, 2 months? I only had to wait 2 months! Mind you, I was still a kid at this point, so I had to beg my parents to make the Switch bundle my one and only birthday gift, which, by the way, was a few months after the console came out, so by the time my birthday actually came, I wouldn't get any presents. But I didn't care. I wanted that console, and I wanted it as soon as possible. Finally, March 3rd came. I had trouble focusing all day in school, but when it was over, boy was I excited. I came home and my dad told me I needed to get my homework done, and the console hadn't arrived yet, but I knew he hid it somewhere in the house, so before I went to do my homework, I snuck around to find that beautiful box sitting on the top shelf in the family room closet. I took it down to just sit on the floor and look at it. I didn't even open it. My dad then came down and caught me in the midst of my daze. I said, "I knew you hid it somewhere," and he responded with, "Just get your homework done." So I did. And that night was amazing. Just getting to feel the console and play the games was incredible. It even initiated me to become a Zelda fan, which I talk more about in a video I'll tag in the top right corner of the screen. Though, you may be a viewer who has already seen it, and if you are, thank you so much. Okay, I'm done with my spiel and ready to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2. The Switch 2 reveal trailer came out, and it was a little bit anticlimactic. The majority of us Nintendo fans already knew what the console looked like, and it's not like the Switch 2 is some revolutionary product. It's the sequel to the Switch, though arguably it's probably a good thing that it wasn't a revolutionary product that got leaked. To sum up, In comparison to experiencing the reveal and lead up to the Nintendo Switch over 8 years ago, I wasn't impressed. But I don't think the leaks or lack of innovation or the still very vague reveal trailer is going to be a problem for the hype of this console. For starters, there's still a lot we don't know. There's an entire button that was censored in the reveal trailer where the most we know is it has a C on it. There are still leaks, patents, and rumors of unveiled quirky aspects to the Switch 2 ranging from a Nintendo version of net rollback to some kind of AR technology, and how could any of us forget? The most we know about the games confirmed for Switch 2 is a bit of murky footage from the next Mario Kart. We could end up looking back at ourselves right after the presentation on April 2nd and say we knew absolutely nothing. There's also a great amount of die-hard Nintendo fans, myself included, that became fans during the Switch's era. With about 150 million units sold comes a good fraction of new, committed enthusiasts. We're living in a time where Nintendo is practically ruling the gaming space, so there are going to be a lot of people, a lot of us, who will be unbelievably excited for this console, regardless of how much we already knew or how innovative it is. Even if the Switch 2 doesn't live up to our expectations, it's still more Nintendo, and for us, that's enough to bring about radical levels of excitement. Though, there's one last major reason why I believe there's no reason that the hype will die down. It's the whole reason why I decided to make this video, why I decided to start it with a prolonged story of my origins as a Nintendo enthusiast, and why I gave this video its title. We've entered a new generation. Now, I do want to say that Nintendo is just one of my passions, so if you, the viewer, are not nearly as passionate about Nintendo or video games as I am, I humbly ask you to do me this one small favor. Just think of some form of art you absolutely love and is a part of your identity, like a band, or an author, or a franchise, or some kind of fashion, or you know what, you get the point. Just keep in mind this part of your identity, and hear me out. Think about how I was barely a follower of video games before the Switch came out. There are people of all ages right now who are going through very similar events that all of us went through before we became passionate about Nintendo. People who only played their Switch for, I don't know, Animal Crossing and Mario Kart. People who are about to have this joyous hobby be a part of their lives. People who, once they get their hands on that console, will tip the first domino, creating an effect that will eventually reinterpret their understanding of video games as a whole and their potential as an art form. It's this part of entering the next generation that's got me really excited. I've gotten older, wiser, and only more passionate. And I find it wonderful that this hobby that I love so much is about to be the hobby of many more people. It's true that anyone can become a fan of video games at any point in time, but the influx that comes with a new console, irrespective of how wondrous the console is in its own right, is grand and powerful. And throughout the console's life, that number will only keep growing. Remember, as fantastic as the passion is associated with the initial owners of a new console, there will be more and more people that, because of a certain video game or suggestion from a friend, will open up to the art Nintendo is capable of, that video games are capable of. The same, of course, happens with all forms of hardware and software, such as mobile devices, other consoles, and personal computers. But I'm not going to deny the fact that when it's Nintendo, I get really excited. They just have this sense of unpredictability with everything they do, except for their pricing and lawsuits, but we don't need to get into that discussion right now. All I'm saying is they're naturally fun, innovative, and bring a lot to the table when it comes to demonstrating the artistry that comes with video games. When the Switch first came out, when I just started my growing enthusiasm for Nintendo, I was judged by my peers. I remember frowning at how empty my friends list was and jumping for joy whenever a close friend decided to get the system. I thought it would be like that forever, but it wasn't. More and more people got the Switch, and now it's more common for me to make a friend who does have, or at one point had, a Switch than a friend who doesn't. Heck, I was the only one I knew who'd revel in Nintendo Directs for years, and now I have a plan with some friends to watch the Switch 2 Direct together. People like trying something new. The Switch 2 is new. We're getting a new Nintendo console. Those of us who began generations past, those of us who began in the most recent generation, and those of us who will begin in the next generation will all revel in the glory of the Switch 2 this year. All fandoms form communities. They create a place of belonging for everyone who's passionate about a certain topic or subject or object. These communities, these places aren't literal. They can be as simple as conversation between two passionate people. What's important is the friendships and senses of recognition associated with these fandoms. They give people something to talk about, something to relate to, and above all else, something to care about. Sometimes these fandoms are awful. I'd like to think that the Nintendo fandom isn't, but I certainly cannot speak for everyone. Nonetheless, it's relatively not important how grimy the fanaticism can get. What matters most is the good they can do. Anyone who's even slightly into Nintendo can be considered a participant, but when they make it a hobby, it becomes a passion in their life. And passion is one of the driving forces that makes us feel alive. It gives us the determination to seek out happiness, to thrive. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for the Switch 2 and all the new passionate people it'll bring. As of writing this, we've seen very little and we don't know what's coming next. But what matters is that there is something coming next. Something new, something Nintendo, and the reveal trailer was the point of initiation. Get ready, because we've just entered a new generation. Hello, here's another outro. To begin, I want to say thank you for watching this video. I wanted to respond to the Switch 2's reveal, and this is what came to mind. So, again, thank you for hearing me out. I also just wanted to emphasize how grateful I am for everyone who watched, commented, and liked my last video. Plus, I want to especially thank my new subscribers for helping me reach 150, and apologize for taking so long as well. I'm still getting used to this whole YouTube thing, particularly in terms of juggling it with other aspects of my life, so I've decided to do this. I promise that by the end of April, I'll have another video out. It'll expectedly most likely be about the Switch 2 Direct in less than a week, and I'll potentially cover the Direct that just came out as well, which was great. Alright, all I can say now is see you then.